Welcome to Changing Gears. I'm your host, Kat Shoulders, and I am joined today by our lead photographer at Worn and Wound, Mr. Garrett Jones. Hey, Garrett.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. Glad to have you back. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while since I've recorded one of these, but we have an exciting year. We've got a lot of plans with this podcast, and we're hoping to kick it back off. And today we got a great conversation.
Yeah, these are always super fun. Definitely out there from our normal topics and conversations, which is great. You know, a little bit more personality that you might not see when we're talking about watches. So
we just get tired of talking about watches all the time, which is why we started this podcast. And on that note, for those that are new to the Changing Gears podcast, we talk about pretty much everything outside of watches. So travel, gear, photography, you name it, we talk about it. Maybe not sports, but this is not really a sports podcast. I'm not a huge sports person, but this is something that's also true to our hearts. We love gear here at Worn and Wound as much as we love watches. Honestly, we have equal conversations surrounding bags and photography literally every day, I would say, or close to. But yeah, we're glad to be back, and we have an exciting episode today. So we're going to be talking about some of our favorite gear items from the last year. So things that came out last year that either caught our eye, maybe some of these items we purchased, perhaps, which I'm sure there's a few on both of our lists that may have fit in that category. But just things that we want to highlight that came out last year. And then we'll talk about maybe some predictions for this year or what we would like to see come out of the year. But before we get started, we got to do a wrist check. So Garrett, What do you have on the wrist today?
So this is a fun one.
I was hoping you weren't wearing something that was like embargoed.
Correct. Yeah, not this time. There are a couple on the desk, but obviously we'll talk about those at a later date once we're able to. This is a fun one of mine that I really don't know the backstory to it a whole lot. It is a Timex Expedition that was co-branded with Mystery Ranch. So my understanding is there's two editions of these, one in Coyote Tan, one in black. But they were like JDM exclusives weren't sold in the US, but they came with a special pouch and some like non-standard wrist straps.
Okay.
So I really don't know the entire backstory, but I own one. I love it. It's lightweight and fun.
Yeah.
And, it is also the loudest quartz watch that I own.
The tick.
So it's deafening loud. So it primarily lives in a watch box that's sealed, but every once in a while it does make an appearance.
Yeah. No, that watch was when we first met in Austin. You had that watch on for the Curiology event that we were at.
Yeah, and I believe I'd have to go back and confirm. I think it's on my 3 for 5K pick. No, it's on my 3 for 5K. It's on one of my early articles. I'll have to grab the link. And
I do remember seeing you take some photos of it. Yeah, it's a cool watch. I love the tan. I'm a huge tan fan, I guess. That needs to be a t-shirt, I feel like.
that is an easy shirt to make.
Desert. You can't go wrong with desert tan. It's just cool. But no,
it's subtle, goes with everything. It's just an easy color to pair with like whatever straps. I've got it on a purple strap right now.
Looks good on it.
It's weird, but it works.
Yeah, I've been digging purple lately. It's coming back, I feel like.
Yeah, those tags have been living rent free in your mind.
Yeah, I know you really like those. We gotta do a quick gear check too. Is there anything in your pockets, EDC dump, that you want to give a shout out to?
So I emptied a lot of my pockets pre-show. But I do have a New York Knife Show exclusive Mordax from ProTech.
Let me see, can you hold it up?
Handles, Magna Cut steel.
Oh yeah.
So it's a nice olive drab green with a bronze mosaic pin. Just super nice, very flippy and fun to play with as much as I try not to.
I know, it's so bad. We were talking about this maybe Friday. There was a little blade that came out with Peter McKinnon and his Pirate company, and it's basically a fidget spinner that has like a little utility knife in it. And it's like, why is that? Like, why do we need a fidget spinner that's also a knife? That's probably not the best combo. But I don't have a knife on my desk today, but I usually have one. The amount of times I've cut, like just tiny bit cut, like my thumb from flipping it around during calls and meetings, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's one of those things that like when you have a good knife, you just want to use it for everything.
Yeah.
And especially one that's got like a really good action. So like this one, I've got it dialed in, and I don't know if it's on washers or bearings, I'd have to ask the ProTech guys, and they'd probably be upset that I don't know that. But it's super easy. Flicks open, drops shut with no issues.
Yeah.
I think I saw that one that you were talking about. It might have been out the front, like a utility knife.
Yeah.
Which was like really kind of wacky, but really cool at the same time.
Yeah. No, they really, it had like some sort of magnetic like closure on it that you could like open and close, which was really cool. I did not buy one, but I have a lot of knives.
Yeah, I tried to get it. I missed it because all of the Pete's Pirate Life stuff just
sold out.
Disappears.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
But to that extent,
I was gonna say you sent me the link where it is available. If you're okay with not being pirate coded on it, you can still buy this knife. We'll link it in the show notes. I'll have Garrett. Actually, I do have the link already because you sent it to me. I will put it in the show notes so people can check it out because it was really cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting product.
Yeah, fidget spinner knife. Who would have thought? I am wearing today my, so this is a brand new watch. I literally got it over the weekend, but it's not brand new in that it was just released. This was actually released several years ago for Worn & Wound's 10th year anniversary, and that is a Seiko field watch. I put it on a gray NATO strap today. So our lovely shop manager, Ricardo, was digging through and cleaning out the warehouse late last week, and lo and behold, there's like two of these. So he posted one in our Worn & Wound Slack channel and the other in our Plus group Slack channel, which if you're not aware of that, I'll also put the link below. It's a great community. Got channels on watches and movies and wrist checks and photography to there. And there's things like this that pop up. Like Ricardo posted actually two LEs that, what was the other one? Was it a Laurier or a Yema? Maybe it was one of our early Yemas, I think. Our Worn & Wound LE.
Yeah, there was a Yema, and I think there might have been some other stuff that pops up.
Yeah.
But spoiler, it's a great way to get in touch with the team and keep an eye out for those like one-off products that maybe we're not going to put back on the website, or it could be a showroom only deal.
Yeah.
But there we try to get them in the hands of our fans and listeners.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a great place. But I rose my hand so fast because I was like, I've wanted this watch for a long time. They hardly ever pop up on like Watch Recon. I've set alerts for them. And everyone that has them just likes them and they keep them. But it's a bigger case design. They've got this like sort of domed crystal too, which adds this like magnifying effect to the dial that I really like. But yeah, I'm so glad that I got one because I came on board at Worn & Wound like literally a month after they had this party. There was a ton of them. And like, I honestly was like, I don't know, I was just out of the loop, I guess, in like the LE world, and I missed it, sadly. And then there was none available, so I got one finally. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, with it being 10th anniversary, it's a minute before I was here. But definitely one of those pieces that's going to go on my like casually keep an eye out.
Yeah, list. And then this year is the 10th anniversary of Wind Up Fairs, which is really cool, and so we're celebrating. We're adding a new show in Dallas. If you haven't heard that already. Which we're really excited about. And there's going to be some really fun and unique opportunities in our other fairs like San Francisco, Chicago, and especially New York. So keep your eye out. There's going to be some big things this year happening. We're so excited for. But yeah, let me talk about my gear check, I guess, real quick. So I forgot about this, obviously, as I always do. And so I literally was like, what's around my desk that I can pull? I have this Rickshaw 2-watch pouch that I think it was given during San Francisco, right?
Yeah. So
this is before we even carried him in the shop.
100%. I think, oh my gosh, what is his name? Mark Dwight, who runs Rickshaw. They're based out of SF. And he came through, kind of was hanging out with some different people and brought like, I hate to call this, but like a large plastic, like a 5-gallon trash bag of these, and was just handing them out.
Yeah.
And I got one, you got one, several other people got them.
Yeah.
But I'll let you talk about what it is, but it's a great little product that we now carry in the shop because we love it so much.
Yeah, I think that's probably what led to the cases being carried in the shop is that we all kind of got one and we're like, oh my gosh, these are amazing. They feel, a lot of times with these watch rolls and pouches, they feel almost like too luxury in a way. They're either leather, they're not really made of materials that I feel like are tough and can withstand being like really thrown in a bag. Don't get me wrong, I love my leather watch rolls, but the profile of this thing is so thin. There's 2 watches in this right now, and I don't know. Well, maybe we'll pull a clip of this, but it's incredibly thin. It fits 2 watches inside of it. It's got this great. I don't know if these are YKK zippers. I can't confirm.
If you look at the zipper, the pull, the metal tab.
Oh,
it may say
they are. They are actually. So that's great. Yeah, one of the best zippers in the world. They're super easy to open and close, and it's not. They don't have any weatherproofing, which is fine. I would never sit this outside. At least I would hope not. But it's got this I don't know, the material inside. It's not quite suede, but
it's like a fleece,
almost like a
fleece kind of deal.
It feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like my Patagonia. What is it? It's like the fleece quarter zip that I have. Feels just like that, like super soft. But it's really great. So when I travel, I've started to just travel with one watch. And so I'll put one watch on the one side, and then the other side I'll put straps or a strap tool. But you can fit up to 2 watches inside of it. Again, just really, it's like some sort of X-Pack material, right, Garrett? I'm sure you know this better than I do.
Those are grid stop.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact material name.
Yeah.
But it's like a synthetic nylon. So it,
durable.
Not a ton of water resistance, but enough to like a light mist or maybe a little bit of water from your hands if you're washing your hands.
Yeah.
But it's definitely enough to it's minimalist protection to keep your watches safe while you're on the go when you don't need an entire, don't get me wrong, watch rolls are great, but they're bulky for what they hold.
Definitely.
So this is the most compact way to carry 2 watches. They make
or more. Yeah, they have the 4-1. And similarly, it folds up really flat because the watches kind of offset each other. So you don't have 2 watch cases head to head bumping into each other on the case. So they sit opposite, almost like, I don't know, if you're thinking of you're laying at the foot of the bed, your head's on one end, your feet's on the other, and you have someone else laying at your feet, sort of that layout. And because of that, it lays super flat. And the 4-watch one, similarly, you can put that on the top of your suitcase, close your suitcase, and it'll still fit in versus a watch roll that's going to be bulky. It's going to stick out. But yeah, I love them because of the colors, honestly. I just like to see bright and fun colors. I think everything, again, in the watch world is usually black or brown or gray. And it's I like fun colors. These sort of are in line with the Adapt stuff we have. I feel like they would fit right in. But yeah, definitely check them out. We have them in the Wind Up shop when we have several available, all different colors. But this is probably, I would say, honestly, my favorite watch travel case. And I'll probably pick up the 4-1 at some point. I don't often travel with that many, but it'd be good to have.
The 2 is perfect for a back pocket or even a front pocket carry.
Yeah.
The 4 is,
you want to do a watch meetup? You want to take something small?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect to fit in your pocket or jacket pocket for sure. Well, cool. Well, I'm excited to jump into the episode. So again, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite gear from last year, or just from the last year. We're still in January, so the last year wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, we're using last year, in
quotation.
Yeah, quotations. That's the word I wanted. Yes,
it's okay. All right. So Garrett, what's number 1? So we're going to go over about 5 items each. What's number 1 for you?
Yeah. So this one, in full disclosure, we do have a full article coming out on this soon, but it's the Yeti Bozeman. So to give you some backstory, one of my favorite backpack brands of all times is Mystery Ranch, based out of Montana. They were bought out by Yeti in 2024, and a lot of people in the EDC community, just a lot of questions. What's going to happen? Is the brand going to get shelved? Will it get rolled into Yeti? And for about a year, we really didn't have any idea. And then during Black Friday, during Yeti's Gear Garage, we got kind of a first look at what might be the future of Mystery Ranch.
Yeah.
So the Yeti Bozeman is a 27-liter pack with Yeti's tough skin nylon, which is an 800D fabric. It's water resistant, abrasive resistant, has water resistant zippers, but it's almost a perfect urban version of the 2-day assault pack, which I think is probably one of Mystery Ranch's most popular backpack.
Yeah.
The 2 daps are very tactical. Full MOLLE, big water bottle pockets, adjustable internal harness. While those features make it a really great pack, the Bozeman went to a slick style on the outside with no MOLLE. They did a lay flat pocket design. So, when you're not using pockets, it's very slim. When you do use those pockets, it fits I want to say it'll fit like a 26 ounce Yeti with no issues. It may fit a 1 liter Nalgene, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But it keeps the same kind of Futura style harness, which is great for weight distribution.
Mm-hmm.
It just puts it in an urban design concept.
Yeah, like more of a street, like kind of everyday use versus
100%.
like outside adventure type use. Yeah.
But it still has the capabilities to do like day hikes or overnight trips.
Yeah.
You might be kind of cramming it full, but you can make it work.
27 liter. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty tight. I have to ask you, Garrett. So I remember when they announced that they were bought out by Yeti. What was your initial reaction to that? Were you as upset as some of our friends and colleagues were?
I was not excited.
Okay.
At first,
just
because, Yeti in and of itself is a really great brand. And they've done this before. They've brought other brands like Smith Cast Iron, which later got rebranded into the Yeti family. Still same quality though. I think really what it is like Mystery Ranch has this like legacy behind their name because of who they are and what they've done. And so I think I was worried that like that legacy would go away. I say that in air quotes, which is kind of silly because the existing packs that are Mystery Ranch are going to be out there forever. And especially after seeing the Bozeman, like I think it's highly likely that what'll end up happening, whether it's Mystery Ranch brand or Yeti brand, is that same design DNA will always be there. Yeah. Mainly the tri-zip opening, the Futura harness, and we'll just get as good products, if not better, into the Yeti lineup. Like I'd love to see like a Futura backpack harness on a Yeti soft cooler. Like that would be phenomenal for day hikes or family outings.
It'd be incredible to see them really collaborate on those ideas because you do have a different core set of customers that are looking at Yeti, right? They're mass marketed products. You can go to any outdoor sports store that you have close by you, and you're going to see Yeti coolers and Yeti mugs and all that stuff right at the front of the store. So accessible. Whereas Mystery Ranch was kind of like, if they were really well known in a certain group of people that was not necessarily super niche, but like because the bag community is huge, but it's not the bag that most people are buying to go hiking, right? Because people are shopping at REI, they're shopping at Dick's Sporting Goods, those type of places. So I'm excited to see more of their stuff available to more people. Because how cool is it going to be that you see some guy in a suit and tie going to his job in New York and he's wearing the Yeti Bozeman down the street, right? Which otherwise 100%. You probably wouldn't see. And again, they're marketed to kind of more of a mass group of people. And I mean, it's on your list, so it's clearly one of your favorites. And the one you had was a buddy of yours, or is that yours?
So it was a loaner.
Okay. You think you're going to buy one now?
It's a very real possibility.
Yeah.
The issue is that it was limited production for the first run of them. I don't know.
I haven't.
Yeah. So they did, however many of them for that initial release, and that's kind of been it.
Okay.
They may bring it back in new colors. They may never run it again. Yeti does Yeti things. If you follow that community, you know that like they'll do a run in a certain color and it's here for 6 months and then it like disappears.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes back, sometimes it doesn't, and the value shoots through the roof. So we'll see. I like it. I personally lean a little bit more into that like tactical aesthetic with pouches and molly webbing, and granted, like it stands out in New York, but it is really useful for carrying things.
Yeah.
So I think push come to shove, I'd probably buy another 2-day assault, but that's only because they're more readily available.
Yeah.
If they were like side by side for urban use, I'd probably buy the Bozeman.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I'm excited.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, that's a great pick. And stay tuned. Garrett just shot a video on the bag, and that will be coming out, I think, like Friday. I think that's our game plan right now, is for that video to go out Friday. So of this week that the podcast is released on. So actually, this podcast goes out Friday morning. So I just realized that this is going to go live Friday morning. So here in just an hour or two, check our YouTube and you'll be able to check out the video.
Yeah,
and or head to the site. Yeah,
wow, goes EDC for Fridays.
Yeah, didn't know that. It's just going to light up that way.
Some things just work out way better than we could ever plan them to.
Totally. All right. So we'll just kind of go back and forth. I think that's probably the way to do it. But my first item on my list is the Leica Q343. So I am an owner of this camera. I bought it as soon as it came out, as soon as I got word officially, which was like maybe a day or two before it officially came out. Leica is so cryptic, y'all, with like, even as press, like we don't even know. You kind of have to like know people that will either kind of let you know ahead of time, which they're not supposed to, or Leica rumors is actually pretty accurate a lot of times too. And if you follow that, they're pretty on point for most of these releases a couple days ahead. But this is like one of my dream cameras. So I have owned the Leica Q3, the Leica Q2 a couple of times. I've owned the Q3. And 28 millimeters, like I don't know. I don't see the world in a 28 millimeter field of view. And I think that camera's amazing. I think it's great for a ton of people, especially if you want to walk around street camera. There is nothing better. Like that is such a great, like that, and like maybe like the Fujifilm X100, like they're great sort of street photography cameras. And I kept trying to like tell myself, because I love that camera so much, that I'll buy it again. I'll try it out. I mean, I've done this like 3 or 4 times. It's ridiculous. My husband hates me for it, but luckily it's Leica, so you never really lose a ton of money when you have to trade it in or get something else. But yeah, when they announced this, I was always hoping for a 50 mil version of this camera. And I understand like that for a lot of people is like a little too high of a focal length, but the 43, according to a lot of people, 40 millimeters, 43 millimeters, it's like as close as what we can see with our natural eye. And so it's like a perfect focal length. And I got to say, I love this camera. It's incredible. I think I might get a little bit of hate for this. I think 60 megapixels is a little high. I think I would have been fine still with it around like 45, 47, just because it is a bit slow. So don't expect to like catch a lot of things in action, but that's kind of like in general, you know what you're going to get. But it's an incredible camera. Obviously it has the 43 millimeter APO lens on it, which in Leica's lineup, this is like the top of the line glass that you can get is the APO. It is the glass that is A, incredibly sharp, and B, it really gives you that 3D pop effect. You can get it with other Leica lenses, don't get me wrong, especially like cool vintage ones, but this is like the APO line is like, this is the best of the best. And basically you're paying for the lens and you're getting a camera body attached to it, because this lens is like a $6,000 lens by itself, which was the same case with the 28 millimeter, which is kind of funny when you think about it. But yeah, they've upgraded the autofocus system a little bit on it, so it's got a little bit better face and body detect. And I've tested it, and I can agree it's much better than the Q2. Made in Germany. These cameras are built like tanks, but this is the one. Like this is finally that Q that like fits my style. If they ever do a 50, I will be on board. But for now, this is like the best camera. Obviously, it is expensive, coming in around I think just under 7,000 or something, maybe six or 7.
Did they raise the price on those? Because I feel like when those released, they were like high fives, like mid. You were like mid 6 after tax.
It's like 6.9. No, I think they were the same. I mean, they may have done a price jump at some point, but
gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, I love this camera. I think it's like there's going to be other cameras that constantly come and go in my rotation because I get bored and I want new things. But this one is like the one that just stays. I think it's perfect. It's a little tiny bigger than I would say the Q2 if you've ever had one body wise, but yeah, it's incredible. And like, if you have the money, which I know is a lot, like, and you're only going to buy one camera, whether you're a hobbyist or a professional, like this is the camera to get. I think anyone that doesn't know a lot about photography can pick up this camera and use it easily. So user friendly.
We've kind of seen that to a degree with Zach Kazan and his Q2 over the last 8
But he also has a video coming out about his experience and personal story on.
Yeah, I mean, it's Leica is definitely one of those brands that like it's known for quality 100%. Like in the photographer community, even outside of the community, those that are adjacent, like you see a black camera body with that little red dot, like it's a sign. And they really are. They're well put together. They're little tanks. I mean, your Q3 weighs what, like 5-6 pounds, give or take?
I was actually looking at that because I was trying to compare the weight to maybe the Q2, but yeah, I'm not seeing the weight on the website.
Full mass body still.
Yeah.
They're heavy little guys, but they're
I
mean, they're tanks. They just work. They
Oh wait, here we go.
Easy
with a battery inside, 772 grams.
Okay. My metric brain is
I know. Wait, you keep talking. I'm going to convert this real quick.
Yeah. I mean, so like I was saying, like, Leica is one of those cameras. I don't know if I'd say it's the easiest in the world to use, but they are kind of in that like point and shoot style. Once you learn how to use them, they are super easy to use. And like, I was playing with one in San Francisco last year, thanks to Camera West, who brought a bunch and loaned them out, and like, shot a photo of one of my buddies, and like he's like 6'2". Mm-hmm. He's entirely in focus, and like that was a cool photo by itself. But then I was able, from 6-7 feet away, was able to crop in on the marathon that he was wearing, and like fully make out the dial, the details, whole 9 yards. So like to your point, like 60 megapixels is massive. Your files are huge, but you gain that ability to really crop in and kind of like. I think you said it a long time ago on a podcast. You get pictures inside of pictures.
Yeah, totally. And I do agree with that. I think that was more important to me with the 28 millimeter because you were shooting this huge wide field of view. You wanted to be able to crop in. With this lens, I find that I'm framing it more accurately, I guess, to say, because I'm closer to my subjects. It's a 43, so I'm not like getting any sort of distortion where I'm filling up the frame a little bit more. So I guess I'm saying that I'm not cropping in as much, which is why I would like to see like a 47 or 45 megapixel version of this, which I'm not going to do at this point, and that's fine. But that being said, I think it just would help speed it up a little bit, where you can use this for a little bit more in action things. Because I have shot kind of models in motion, and it's a little troubling. It's not that you can't do it; you totally can, but you got to kind of work at it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's still, very versatile all-around camera.
Yeah.
When we were making our list for this, you put that on the list, and I was like, I knew this was going to be Kat's topic of the year.
Saw your note. Yeah, and look, I know it's incredibly expensive, and I'm not trying to be this bougie person because I'm not. I own a lot of other cameras too that are fantastic, but this came out last year. It was like one of the best releases for me, and I think like if you're going to have a Grail camera on your list, like it should be one of these. I think they're fantastic.
Yeah, and I think like Q2, Q3, 28 or 43.
Yeah.
You really can't go wrong with them if you just want something to play around with.
Even the original Q. Yeah.
It's, it's a heavy buy-in, so to speak, but I don't want to like compare it to watches because watch values fluctuate all the time, but like Q3 or Leica Q cameras are probably one of the most like constant value cameras out there.
Yeah.
Like they just hold.
Yeah.
And so like,
and not even that, they last. I know a lot of people still shooting on, M cameras that are from the 80s and 70s, and they're still taking fantastic shots with them. And the same goes for this. And Leica does update their software. So if you have a Q1 or if you have a Q2, you can update it with the latest software as well. Which is really great. But yeah, these cameras are built to last. They're what do you call it? Not iOS systems, but just OS systems, I guess. Yeah. Like the built-in software. It's simple, right? It's so stupid simple, so everyone can use it. And I also think they do it just because they do these upgrades, and you're not going to feel like you can pick up a Q1 and not feel like you're shooting a camera from 15 years ago necessarily. It feels like a modern camera. So they're kind of smart in how they do it and kind of keeping things super simplified.
Yeah, they're just great pickups. That's really all there is to say about them.
All right, so we're tossing it back to you, Garrett. What's second on your list here?
Yeah, so keeping with the camera theme, completely unplanned, I promise, is the Clever Supply Co. Sidekick Pro. So Clever Supply Co. is a company based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to my OG hometown. They made a bunch of like straps is really how they kind of got into the game with doing leather straps and all stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
But they started developing some soft goods camera slings, larger camera slings, kind of like a Lulu belt bag style type of pouch.
Okay.
And then they kind of realized that, like, hey, there's an opportunity here for a minimalist oriented camera sling.
Yeah.
That's kind of a mix of the two. So they came out with the Sidekick Pro, and I got the chance to go out to their shop and check it out, talk with the owners. And it's, the best way that I can put it is it's just a camera sling that fits your camera and nothing else, which, is really used to describe a lot of other slings out there. But this is the first one that I've ever been able to make work for me.
Really?
And I think a good portion of that is because I switched from Nikon to Sony.
So you have a smaller body?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it'll fit my Sony with like a 28 mil prime if I want to do street. Yeah. It'll also fit my A7CR with a 24-70. Okay. So I can, in one pouch, take my camera body, my workhorse lens, and an extra battery and go shoot for 6-7 hours outside in the city. I could go to a work shoot if I needed to. It's just the perfect size for me to not overpack a bunch of gear that I'm not going to use.
Yeah.
And it's in a wax canvas, which I absolutely love.
Wax canvas too. Yeah.
So they're working on rolling them out now. I think they're in pre-order now for February delivery. But and I don't want to say price because I don't know off the top of my head, but they're reasonably priced for a camera accessory. They also fit the Q series really, really well.
Yeah, I imagine.
I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's one of the first slings that I've ever been able to make work for me. And I think that's why it's just so high on my list as, such great gear.
That's awesome. So you're saying like it's not a bag that you could fit like an extra lens in per se, but you can maybe put a couple batteries.
It completely depends on what you're shooting.
Obviously, you're putting a Ricoh in there, but Ricoh also doesn't have any additional lenses or anything like that. Yeah.
I mean, I could fit like my A7CR with the 28 mil prime, and because Sony did this like series of 3 small primes that are identical in size. It was like a 28, a 40, and something else, and I could fit another one of those in there.
Okay.
But it would get a little tight, and like with my 24-70, it's like perfectly fits.
It's really meant just for like you're taking that one thing and you're heading out for the day or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you shoot film, you could shoot a couple, your camera with your lens and a couple rolls.
Yeah. Yeah. I imagine too, like if you're on vacation and you're just like you're going out for the day, it'd be the perfect little camera bag to have on you.
Like throw your keys in. It's got straps at the bottom to put a tripod on if you wanted to. Yeah. I personally don't, but like it could be your one grab and go bag to go out and shoot for a couple hours.
Yeah, that's really cool. Maybe even like a kit for a creator too, or maybe it's not a camera. You're putting your phone and a mic and again, like you said, a tripod at the bottom for like a little creator kit too, or maybe you're taking a small drone out or, something like that too.
Yeah. Or like, if you're using like the Osmo system or the Osmo Pocket, which is extremely popular now, like you could fit a Pocket 3, the little tripod, the battery grip, the mic kit, all of that could go inside, and like you'd have not a lot, but you'd have extra room in there to put whatever else. So yeah, to your point, it would be a great, creator kit bag as well.
Totally. That's awesome. That's a great pick.
Yeah. What's next on your list, Kat?
On my list, so this one's pretty interesting and not one that I would have thought I would have added. This is the Peak Design new outdoor line. So you and me actually went to the Peak store not long after they announced this launch.
Yeah, and I think we were like day one that they...
Was it day one? I can't remember.
It was very, very close to that.
Yeah. And they had these on display, not for sale, but they had them on display at the store. And, you took probably a more, I would say, intensive look at them than I did. I was distracted by things I wanted to buy there. But I did take
shopping and I was researching.
But I did get to look at a few of them. And I'll be honest, like my initial reaction when this line came out was like, I don't know if I like it. They're like the bags weren't. So with Peak Design, if you're familiar with them, their bags usually have a structure to them, right? They're almost like a shell. They're very, very protective, but they're also with creators and photographers in mind. This is kind of going away from that with a different set of consumer. It's more of like the outdoor group of people, the people that need a flexible, light, super light bag to carry with them camping, mountain climbing, all these different activities that you can do outdoors, biking even. There's great slings. So at first I was like, I don't know if I like this. This kind of departs from like what I think of when I think of Peak. And obviously I was like, just like, I think selfish and thinking like, I need another camera bag. Why? Where's the camera stuff at? Right.
Yeah.
And then once I like departed from that and really started looking at them and started seeing more and more photos show up on like Instagram, I really turned and was like, actually, no, I think this is actually a great line for them. And I like that they are changing direction a bit to market to a different group of people than just like photographers and creators, because everybody, their mom carries a Peak design bag, in the city. I see a ton of them when I come to New York, not so many here in Nashville, but, I think that I'm excited for the difference that this bag is making. And honestly, like I love these little pouches and slings. They're incredible. So they're super modular, which if you're someone that goes hiking and camping outdoors, you want to be able to attach all these different things, your tent, your sleeping bag, all that kind of stuff, which you can do.
Exactly.
And the great, really tough materials as well. But they've got so much that they offer here. I mean, I'm looking through all that's on their site. They have backpacks that are 25 liter all the way up to 45 liters, which again, the 45 liter is perfect for someone that's going for a multi-day hike or camping trip. I love the colors too. So Peak has always been known to kind of shy away from colors. Again, black, gray. That's like literally what they started with was the black and gray. Then eventually they've added that coyote, which I'm a huge fan of and have multiple things of. And then they started adding tote bags or like kind of a cream, or I think they even called it like a bone white or something like that. And then a blue, sort of a dark navy blue. But again, nothing super colorful, nothing really fun. These bags are fun. There's like a purple maroon color. It's a little burgundy. I don't know what exactly you would call it that I absolutely love on their site. But yeah, everything is like, I don't know. There's stretchy water bottle pockets, which I think is super handy. And then the bag, again, has this like sort of stretch material on it where you can really, really pack it down. It's not a bag I would use for photography, and that's okay. I wouldn't buy this bag with that in mind. I would buy it for the use case of like, I'm going overlanding, I'm going camping or something, and like I need a cool backpack to take with me that I can fit a shit ton of stuff in, which I shouldn't have said that, but sorry, we'll cut that out. We try not to curse on here as much as possible, but it happens sometimes. But yeah,
maybe
again,
we'll just bleep it and leave it in.
And I don't know how you felt. Like I felt like they really did. I mean, obviously they had shot a whole campaign for this. When they launched it, they did a great launch with it. They didn't just come out with like, here's like a couple little things, we're introducing it. No, they came out with the entire lineup, multiple bags, multiple slings. And I think like that's the way to do it. But I also want to hear your opinion on this bag set, because you did spend a lot more time with it hands-on than I did.
Yeah, these are. So this is kind of an interesting one to talk about, because they are really technically interesting. And it's been a minute since I've looked at them. So correct me if I'm wrong, but these are all like roll top bags, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They're not. Yeah. So it's really interesting in the sense of like, it's not what you would want for a camera bag, which is what Peak has always been known as, bar like the travel duffel that they came out with.
Yeah.
But so like it kind of like hit the community with mixed feelings, because a lot of people that knew Peak and looked at Peak were like, oh, this isn't a Peak camera bag. Like, why would I want this? And to your point, it's not a Peak camera bag.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, like you were saying, they did it right. They didn't just roll out like, here's a new backpack that we'll make something else for in 6 months. It was, here's a new bag that's going to hit stores in 3 months, give or take, because they rolled it out, not like I think they did Kickstarter it.
I think it was Kickstarter,
but they had, some stock available to ship when it was over. But it it was everything. It was 2 or 3 different size bags, multiple different size pouches, smaller accessories as well. So, they really built out an entire ecosystem, which I think is, more to Peak's claim to fame than anything. Like they make great bags, which is not, I don't really think that's up for debate.
No.
Maybe someone out there hates them, but that's fine. You can be wrong. Peak Design is really good at making ecosystems. And we've seen this with cameras and all of their lineup and accessories. And then they did some like phone-based stuff for like motorcycles and biking, which was, outside of their wheelhouse. And here again, we have Peak branching out into this new kind of niche community, but same thing, creating a whole ecosystem. And it's available from day one. And it's, to your point, it's really well put together and it's well laid out, very different. And as long as you come to it with an open mindset and you don't look at it as a camera bag, it's a really great bag. I mean, I would put it on par with some of the the entry level offerings from like Osprey or Kelty or these other like mid-sized hiking backpacking bags that like
lightweight.
You're not doing the Appalachian Trail with this. It's not that. But for a maybe a family outing, or you're going out just by yourself for a weekend with a couple friends, like it's a perfect. I don't want to say perfect. It's a great contender for a hike in, hike out, go have fun in the woods type deal.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think, one thing I've learned from owning and buying Peak over the years is that they pay attention to the details, like with the photography bags. Every single pouch and compartment and it's all thought out, right? And so I imagine that these bags, while you may not see those same counterparts, they have really thought out this bag for the person that is hiking and going outdoors and doing an activity, and they're made for that. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see where this line goes. I was kind of doing like an overlanding shoot over the weekend. I kind of brought all my gear with me. I brought my Peak duffel bag along with my Coyote backpack, but I realized on the trip, like, I don't need this backpack. Like, I don't need all these photo compartments. And I really just need kind of like a lightweight backpack that I can fill with clothes and stuff, or even just like throwing the cue in protectively in there. And I didn't need all the other compartments that were meant for photo gear. And so I would love to pick up one of these bags. Maybe they'll do a Coyote. I would love to see that. I might wait for that. I do like the black one, and I like this eclipse color, as they call it, the maroon.
Yeah, that was really, that Coyote, not to like kind of jump ship, is a really interesting product. If you do some Google searching, that Coyote fabric is an X-Pack material, which is made by Challenge Cellcloth. Peaks, what they have is actually a recycled plastic from ocean waste.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's still the case, but at least when it first came out, they had exclusive rights to that fabric. So it may be available for other people now, but you can get a cool bag and a Coyote colorway that goes with anything.
Yeah.
And you're helping save the planet.
Yeah. There you go. What more do you need?
Yeah.
All right. So I think we probably have time for one more from each of us, and then maybe we'll give a quick shout out to the others on our list. So feel free to pick from your next three that you have here, Garrett.
So looking at the rest of my list, the one that I think really deserves the most like in-depth is the ProTech Oligarch. So this is a out the side automatic knife released from the ProTech guys. If you don't know them, they're I don't want to say family owned. They're a smaller manufacturer out in California. The man that started the company, Dave, is hands down one of the nicest people I've ever talked to in the EC community.
That's great. Yeah.
And they're also, Dave and Matt, two of the guys out there that I'm good friends with, are massive watch fans. So they were out at Windup in New York with us last year. But the Oligarch is just really well put together. It's they're using Magna Cut steel, which I think is probably one of the better all-around steels out there. Not perfect by any means, but really well balanced in its properties with edge retention, toughness, and corrosion resistance. And they're all made in America. So they're just super well put together. Questionable legality-wise, depending on where you live. Unfortunately, I can't legally carry one here in New York.
Yeah, but is it because of the blade, like being
because
too long?
It's an automatic? So it is it's a push button open.
Gotcha.
New York is a little restrictive in what you can carry blade-wise. But I do travel back home to Kentucky from time to time, so
just leave it there. Yeah,
may or may not have one sitting on the dresser at home. At my parents' house for when I come home to carry.
Yeah, that's cool. So, it sounds like a really neat knife. I actually wasn't familiar with this one. Looking up some photos of it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really it's super slim, so to speak, like not bulky in the handle, but at least with my hands, it feels great. Super well put together, and the team behind ProTech is just top-notch people all the way around.
That's awesome. Yeah, great pick. I'll quickly go over my last one, and then maybe we can give some shout outs to some of the last few here. But this is kind of a hard decision. I think I'm going to go with the James brand Palmer, and this is in their new clear collection that they came out with last year. So if you're an 80s or I would say 90s kid, you remember the Game Boy Clears. I had a regular Game Boy Clear. I also had a Game Boy Advance that was clear as well. It's like kind of the thing to have. Like if you had one, and they made cameras at the time that you could see all the internal parts. Which man, I wish that they would do more with that technology now. It'd be really cool to see. Maybe they didn't love the yellowing that eventually happened to them, but I think technology has come a long way. These are actually, they're a knife that you can fit a little utility knife in. It's like a little compact case that you could slide in a utility knife. So you can actually travel with it without a knife inside of it. And then when you get to where you're going, go to the hardware store, Walmart, wherever, buy a little utility pack, and then you can stick a knife in it. Not a knife that's going to like be a heavy duty knife that's going to save you from anything. But I don't know if you're on a photo shoot or if you just need something, maybe for work or whatever, this is a great little pocket knife to have. It's also a fidget spinner, I will say. I sit here at my desk. This is like one of the knives I always have on my desk, which I'm very surprised I don't right now. I have the aluminum version, the canary yellow. Yeah. Absolutely love it. It's just such a great, like, I open so many boxes at home, and I know, Garrett, you probably open a million boxes too. Like, this is perfect for that. And it just looks cool. Like, it's a really great, I love this design. And I think like more than anything, it's like something really cool that you can just look at on your desk. It's almost like a paperweight, if you will. But yeah, they came out with the clear line. They've got gray, we've got yellow, like a turquoise blue, a purple, which the purple is the one I want, which we're sold out of in the shop right now. And then we have like kind of a coral color, but they're bright and they're fun, and they just kind of, I don't know, they're kind of nostalgic for me in a way. And I got a preview of these when we were in San Diego last year. We were up in Oceanside with them, and I was just like immediately blown away. And I was like, I need one of those. And they're made from recycled PCTG, which I'll be honest, I don't know what that stands for. But it sounds like it's a good thing. Obviously, they're claiming that it's lighter, it's brighter, and just as durable as their aluminum counterparts. So that's really cool. It's a little cheap knife. It's like $40. If you want the aluminum, those are about $20 more, but it's just so fun. All these things will be linked in the show notes so you can check them out. But definitely, if you just need like a little knife or maybe a starter gift or something, I think these are perfect for gifts too because of the price point, and like they're just so fun.
Yeah, and they're, like you said, they're colorful as well. So yeah. It's one of those things that, like, completely opposite of the oligarch, it doesn't have this like tactical, scary vibe to it. It's small and compact. It doesn't really look like a knife.
Yeah.
So it, it's great. Like you mentioned, it's just opening boxes, have it on your desk. It's not going to scare anybody.
Exactly.
But they, it's just enough blade to do work without being overly dangerous.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Yeah. Well, do you want to give a quick shout out to the other items you had on your list?
Yeah. So the first alternative, we'll say, was Sony's 28-70 f2.
Good lens, yeah.
Super great lens, tack sharp, on par with primes from what I'm seeing. But also just lets in a ton of light while giving you some working distance.
Yeah.
This lens could be the one lens that I pick up in 25 that may become my workhorse.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Maybe there'll be more about that if I pick one up. But the other item on my list is it's a fountain pen, but it's made not entirely. It's mostly made out of Ultem, which is kind of this like see-through resin material.
Oh, really?
So to your extent, you can see all of the inner workings inside of it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
But it's made by a company called Big Idea Design, which is actually kind of in your backyard down in Chattanooga. So about 2 hours away, I think. But these were like one of the first USA made product that they did.
Totally.
But just super great team down there. It's actually the fountain pen that's kind of converted me to fountain pens.
That's cool. Yeah, I've not joined the fountain pen crew yet. I love a good ballpoint. I just haven't been brought over yet.
Things that like when you dive in and you're like, all right, cool, I have a pen that works really, really well. And you're like, this is great. And then you realize like I can buy any color ink in the world that I want. And it's almost like analysis paralysis, just trying to pick like,
what do you mean? Do you have more options?
Yeah.
With a fountain pen?
Like if you like a ballpoint or gel, which has kind of always been where I've lived at.
You're buying the cartridges.
Yeah. So you're buying a pre-filled cartridge and like you might get like a black, a blue, a red, and that's really about it. There's a few people like Muji has some really fun colors like green, orange, and a deep blue, different reds, but you're stuck with what's pre-filled. So with the fountain pens, I think partially just because the technology's been around forever, so to speak. There's like a million different ink colors out there. So I've had everything from like a sepia brown to a dark black to bright orange to like reds and vibrant greens. But then you can also get inks that will like write one color, and when they dry, they have like a shimmer, or they dry a different color. So I've seen like purple to green, and vice versa.
That's cool.
Like gold flake and silver, and it's just a whole nother world to dive into.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
But it's a lot of options, and it's also kind of fun to be like, all right, cool, I got a red pen this week, and next week it's purple, and on and on and on.
That's great. Yeah, great picks.
What has made your list? But
we didn't have time to talk about that. Would be the Kindle Scribe 2024 edition. So I actually bought a Kindle last year. It's not this newest edition, but I am 100% a Kindle Scribe fan. Our shop manager here at Warner Wound, Ricardo, actually had one of these, and I came into the office and sat down with him for a meeting one day and was like, what is that? I want one. And he was sitting there taking notes during our call, and I brought it over and I started writing on it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a great feeling. It has like the e-ink display on it, so it feels like paper. They've actually improved that technology with this new version. They've added like a little kind of window aperture around it, which I'm not totally in love with, but I could look around that for the fact that it has much longer battery life. The screen literally feels like paper from what I'm hearing. They incredibly improve the experience there, and it has a better pen too. So writing and erasing is much better on the new one as well. So I probably will upgrade at some point, maybe not this year, but maybe next year to the new version. But these are great. I take so many notes. We have, a lot of meetings that we do here at Warner Wound, and I keep a to-do list. I have tried doing the digitized to-do list many times, whether it's on Monday or my notes app. Just never really works. I like writing things down. It tends to stick in my memory a little bit better. And the same thing with notes. When I'm taking calls with clients, I just prefer to write things down. I don't like typing away. It's certainly faster, and there's moments that I do that. I kind of go back and forth, but since I've bought this Kindle Scribe, I've been writing a lot more. And then the best thing about it too is like you can be reading a book. You can read all your Kindle books on it, like you would a normal Kindle. And then say you want to have like notes that you're taking as you're reading these books, you can switch back and forth between your notes, between the book you're reading. You're also able to highlight, make notes in the books you're reading. It's pretty neat.
I was just about to ask if you could do that.
Yeah. It's really cool. And then also like with a click of a button, you can transfer your notes over you can send it to your email. You can send it to your Google Drive. It will digitize it too. So it will like write all your notes out if it can read your handwriting, obviously, which is not always possible with mine at times.
I understand the pain there. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just like allows you to create folders. And again, you can do a lot of this stuff on your computer now and on your phone, but I just love the writing experience. And I kind of I was spending so much money on notebooks and just flying through them. Cause sometimes like you're quickly writing something down in your notebook and you're like, well, damn, now I wasted a whole page on something that's like not even that important.
Yeah.
So this, you can just like delete it and it's gone. But it's so fun. And yeah. And like, there's obviously different page options, but I'm sorry, I didn't even mean to like go into this too long, but I just wanted to give that a shout out. And then I also I'll quickly go over my last one, which is the Huckberry Tacoma collection. So last year, Huckberry collaborated with Toyota Tacoma. They came out with a taco collection of things. So they came out with shirts and hoodies and hats and patches. They also have like a camping blanket, just a bunch of really cool stuff. If you're a Tacoma fan, I am. I don't have one. I have a 4Runner. Really, really hope that they do a 4Runner collaboration this year because I would really love that. But I did buy their little carabiner because I was like, well, I am a Toyota owner now, so I bought that. But really cool. All the stuff was like super retro looking, and they did a great job on it. So just give that a quick shout out.
Yeah, I would say that is the Toyota, and especially like the TRD fans are some of the most diehard like people that I know. Like they buy into it 100%. Everything is that. It's what, yellow, orange, red.
Yeah,
think
yeah,
the
it's
three
like the
colors,
vintage. Yeah,
it is everywhere. And like, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's kind of great. I'm a big automotive fan, but yeah, that was a killer collection that Huckberry
yeah, it was
did.
so fun. Yeah, it had gloves in there too, and just a bunch of really cool things. There's still a lot available on their site on Huckberry if you want to go check it out. Some of the stuff they're sold out with is available on eBay already. I've seen like there's people that just clearly picked it up to make $1, but they've got a cool like sleeping bag blanket on there that was really close to picking up. But I don't know, I feel weird. I don't want like a taco thing in my Forerunner, right? I'm just gonna wait and beg Huckberry to do a Forerunner collab.
So
there's no cool nickname for the Forerunners.
Fair, but what happens when you get the Forerunner collab and then you go pick up the taco?
I'm not going to though. No, I'm a Forerunner girl. This is my like I love this car so much. Again, I kitted it out over the weekend, just kind of testing all my stuff out for some upcoming camping trips, and I just love it. I'm already like I've got a long list of items I need to buy to kind of kit it out even more. But I'm really stoked about this car, and I will have it for a very long time. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's definitely, those are like, it's a great platform if you want to do overlanding or even just like car camping.
Car camping, yeah.
It's just a great
all I'm doing right now.
Build off of and, have fun. And plus now, not that you need to drive up to New York, but if you want to come up or go.
I am not driving to New York.
Well,
if I can't fly, I'm not going.
All right. Well, maybe anxiously wait for the day to prove you wrong. But until then.
Yeah. Maybe if there's a train that can take me up there, it'll be like a 10-hour train, I'm sure.
I know there's a train from somewhere up here to Florida that takes your car, but I don't. So maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think there's actually not a vehicle train, but I think there might be a train either in Knoxville or Chattanooga that goes up north, but not here in Nashville, unfortunately.
That would be a long ride.
It would be, but it's just faster than driving.
Well, that's fair.
No traffic.
At that point, you might as well just fly.
At that point, it's an 1.5-hour flight. Yeah, I'm going to fly.
Yeah, that's not a bad flight at all.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks, Garrett, for joining today. I had a blast. Hopefully, we'll do these yearly, right? We'll kind of cover some of our favorite gear, in January of next year. And is there anything on top of mind, real quick, that you're maybe hoping for to see this year in 2025?
Ooh, that is a really, really broad one. I really want to see more of what Yeti and Mystery Ranch, I guess officially now just Yeti, they're going to come out with. Early in the year, we did kind of get a scare with Niagara Metalworks, who makes MagnaCut. They're like the official producer, issued a warning that they may file for bankruptcy. It's a New York regulation. Wow. They have to give 90-day notice. I think we're still in that 90 days as of this podcast. So there's a lot of variables there. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. I do love my MagnaCut steel and everything else that team has come up with.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm really just excited in general. I think we're continuing to see a lot more people jump into the EDC game, which is phenomenal, both as, consumer enthusiasts and companies making side products.
Yeah.
So I think this is just going to be a good year for products in general. I think innovation is going to continue and we'll see new and better things. So,
yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned a second ago, I'd love to see Huckberry do a collab with the Forerunner. Maybe they can make fun of the little, like the little whittle watta, as people say on the back. Mine doesn't have one, just saying, but that's kind of a running joke. Maybe they can incorporate that somehow. But no, I think I would like to see. I don't know what Panasonic has up its sleeve. I'm an owner of the S5 II, and I don't know. I'd like to see another version of that, a little beefier, maybe a little bit more megapixel. It's like a 24 megapixel camera. It's great for video. It's a great hybrid camera. The photography is great on it too. It's a similar sensor to Leica. Like you get kind of close to Leica colors with it. Obviously, you can do that now with any camera with the tech we have. But I don't know. I'd like to see maybe a 45, 50 megapixel version of that camera. It's been awesome to have in my kit. Been using it a lot alongside the SL2 on shoots, and I'd like to kind of just see like a beefed up version of that. I think for photos.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. We're seeing a lot of people in that creator ecosphere, I think is a good way to put it, whether it's video, stills, audio, podcast. We're still in a big boom of that kind of industry, I think. And so, innovation there takes a little bit of time. You're not just making a new sensor overnight.
Definitely.
So this could definitely be a year with a lot of innovation. We've already kind of seen it with Canon and that new behemoth of a sensor they just talked about, I think last week on The Verge.
Yeah.
But so we'll see. I mean, I think you might be right on target there with some of the stuff that might come out this year.
I don't know. We'll see. Saving my pennies.
Well, that's
if it's not for watches, it's for gear.
Yeah, that's the issue that me and you share the most, is that if we're not buying a watch, we're saving for a camera, and they're equally as expensive, if not more sometimes.
Gosh, I know. I am leaning towards like not buying so many watches this year and saving some more money for like building up my photo stuff a little bit more. Like to really get back into film this year. Got a film camera sitting on my shelf behind me, and like I picked it up a couple times, but like I don't know, I just feel like I never have the time, or at least that's what I tell myself. You have to take obviously your cartridges and take them over to photo studio or lab that can develop them for you. I'm like in the boonies. Like I don't have anyone close to me, but Nashville's not too far away. It's like a 45-minute drive, and what I need to do is just like shoot a lot more, and that's something I want to try to do more this year, is shoot more on film.
Yeah, I think on that same extent, like I've recently been printing my photos, which to any photographers out there, phone, whatever you're shooting, it's great to have digital images, and I know we live in this digital age. Spend the money and get a good lab to print some of your photos, whether it's just some 5x7s for your desk or whatever. But there is something truly magical about getting an image that you took, whether it's a vacation, family portrait, whatever, and having a physical, tangible copy of it in your hands.
Definitely. Yeah. It's something different when you see your photos blown up. And I've remember going into the office, a few years ago, and Blake had taken a couple shots that I'd taken and put them in frames on the wall. And I was like, whoa, like you just see your photo in a different light. I mean, it's just, it's so crazy. I love that feeling. We did like little pamphlets last year, and, I'm imagine a couple of your photos even landed in there too at Windup. And like, that was cool. It's just like, again, you have the physical aspect of holding your photo or seeing it in person. It's pretty crazy, but great rec. And maybe we can talk about film printing and getting into home printers too at some point in one of these episodes.
That is a rabbit hole, but I'm always willing to dive in and talk about more gear.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks y'all for listening. Appreciate it. And you can, if you have any questions, you can email us at info@wornandwound.com. Leave us comments in the show notes, or I think you can actually comment now in Spotify, which is pretty cool. And we'll be sure to check them out. Or you can comment on the Instagram post too, and we'll see those and respond. But again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you out there.